So I have been afraid to tell this story, but I feel like I have to tell you with you guys because we're a paranormal channel and this is just something I cannot, like, forget about. But I'm so scared to tell this because I feel like I'm going to die because just what happened. But I want to get on with the details. So as some of you might know, I travel around for work a little bit. I live in Pennsylvania and I got to work up in Maine. Since Maine is a like 12-hour drive for me, I can't even remember, maybe more. You know, it was like a 2-day travel day and I decided to take my mom along with me just for like a fun little getaway with my mom. And we decided to stop in Salem, Massachusetts. And I've always wanted to go to Salem, Massachusetts because of the witch trials that happen there. And it's just, like, it's just like, for a paranormal fan, it's one of those things that you have on your to-do list in life. So I went there and let me tell you a little bit about Salem. When we arrived, it wasn't really anything like I pictured, but at the same time it was. So we were informed when we were there that the state of Massachusetts were actually really, how should I say this, like, disappointed in the Salem witch trials. That at some point in time, like right after they were done with the whole Salem witch trial stuff, Massachusetts wanted to forget everything about it and, like, you know, just live on without, like, remembering it happened. There is like the town of Salem, which you have all kinds of things and history to learn about it, but then there's the other half of Salem that it's like we don't really talk about it, we don't really know much about it, and it's just kind of weird. Now when I was in Salem, I felt a very odd energy there. Like, it was no other energy. It was just very weird. Like, the vibe there was extremely weird and just kind of off. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, maybe it's because, you know, it's the Salem witch trials and it has a dark history about it, and maybe it's just gotten in my mind and stuff, or maybe it's just the energy, like spiritual energy there that is weird, and like the witches, you know, bringing in the weird energy. And then I also thought about when I go to Gettysburg. I love Gettysburg and I am pretty sensitive to energies. You know, I've been like that my whole life. And when I'm in Gettysburg, I don't feel, you would think being in Gettysburg, you would feel like depressed and just, you know, like kind of fearful maybe. Just kind of negative stuff all the time in Gettysburg because it was a huge battle then, you know. But when I'm in Gettysburg, like, I feel my most happiest. Like, it's just so, I feel vibrant there. Like, it's exciting. I feel excited to be there. And it's weird too because, like, I'm really not into like war ghost stories, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care for all those like soldier ghost stories. Like, if I hear like about a soldier, okay, that's cool. Like, it's cool, don't get me wrong. Like, any kind of ghost story is cool. But like, to me, for like topics, if it was, you know, a haunted war ground versus a haunted forest, I'd go for the haunted forest for some reason. I don't know what it is about war, but I don't really care for it, you know. But I do love Gettysburg. I really like it there. Now, I do like Salem a lot. That was so fun. I'm so glad I got to go there. It was really fun. But it just had this really weird energy, you know, and I can't really explain it. It just felt kind of off, but it was kind of cool. Like, it wasn't an awful negative vibe, like I wanted to get out of there. It was just, oh, this is strange, but I'm into it. But anyway, so that's not really what this story is about. This story has to do with a man named Giles Corey. Let me tell you a little bit of history on Giles Corey. Okay, so Giles Corey was accused, along with his wife, of being a witch, and he would not plead guilty or not guilty. So for his punishment, they wanted to execute him by pressure. So what they would do, they laid him down and they pretty much like crushed him with boards or stones, and like they piled all this stuff on because they wanted him to spill details. But anyways, he was crushed to death, like, from his chest. So they'd put stuff on his chest until he died. At the time, when he was being crushed, the sheriff of the city, he was the one, you know, dealing with it because it was his job to do that to witches, well, help out with it. And Giles Corey actually cursed him. He said, "I curse all the sheriffs from now on and the city of Salem." And I can't really remember what exactly the curse was. But since then on, every time there's been a sheriff in town from him on, the sheriff that crushed Giles, from him on, they have died in office or just something horrible has happened to them. And it's pretty much been true to curse. Giles Corey was an older man. He was in his 80s. So Giles Corey was born in 1611 and he died in 1692. Especially back then, that was really old. So I don't understand why they would even bother to kill him. Like, he's gonna die tomorrow. Leave the poor guy alone. Now let's get back to the future, the present. Back in September of 2017, when me and my mom went to Salem, Massachusetts, we did like a ghost tour thing at night, and the tour guide was walking around and he showed us like different places, like some of the churches they went to, some of the places where the people have been hanged or buried or executed. Well, he took us to this place. It was just like a regular sidewalk, like there was no marked territories, because like I said, I think this has to do with Salem, Massachusetts, like the state of Massachusetts not being proud of the whole witch trial thing. We were at the place where Giles Corey got crushed to death, and before the tour guide said much about anything, I want you guys to know I did know a little bit about Giles Corey before this. Like, I knew like he was crushed to death, like I was, you know, doing some history search, and I heard about the guy being crushed to death. I'm like, oh, that sucks, but I didn't know too much about it, right? So when we got there, the tour guide didn't say much yet, and like I just felt so much pressure on my chest. Like, it wasn't to the point where like I wanted to like faint or lay down. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever, maybe just, you know, my muscles spasm, you know, things happen. But like I felt so much pressure on my chest. This is like really creeping me out. And within like a minute of that happening, the tour guide proceeds to say that he knew a guy that, and I can't remember how he knew the guy, if it was another tour guide or if it was like a friend of his or someone, but there was a guy that mentioned, it was a few years ago, they were on that same kind of tour, and he was saying that his chest was feeling a lot of pressure on it. And like, to me, I'm just like, oh my god, and I kind of got excited in that moment because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm kind of communicating with this spirit, like, this is awesome, like, something's happening to me, which happens to, like, he was saying, like, people that are more sensitive to this kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because, like, when I was younger, like, I wasn't, like, I seen spirits, like, everywhere, you know, but, like, I feel like I had more psychic ability when I was younger than I do now, and I feel like it sucks because I really want that psychic ability still. And like I have it sometimes, you know, like I feel like my intuition is like on point all the time, and like and things like that. But like I was just so excited in that moment when he said that another guy felt a lot of pressure on his chest when he was talking about Giles Corey. And then this is the part that scares me so much and why I'm afraid to share this story. At the time, I told my mom, like, oh, Mom, my chest kind of really hurts. And this is, like, right before he said, you know, that guy felt pressure on his chest. I'm like, Mom, my chest kind of hurts. And then the tour guide said about, you know, the guy felt pressure on his chest. And I was about to say, hey, my chest, like, I just told my mom, my chest is hurting. Like, I'm not saying it because you said this. Like, it was hurting when we got here. And before I even, like, said that, or, like, thought about actually saying it, because I'm kind of shy, the tour guide proceeds to say that that same year, a few months later, the guy died of a heart attack. And, like, in my mind at that moment, I said, well, that guy shared. Because I can't remember what he said after that. I think he said something like, he might have been, like, Giles Corey might have not liked that guy or something. I don't know, but he kind of correlated it to, like, it was Giles Corey that gave him the heart attack. And the guy was, from what I remember, was relatively young for a heart attack. I think he was maybe in his 30s, maybe 40s. You know, he wasn't in, like, his 60s or 70s. And like, I'm not that old either, but I still got nervous. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy mentioned that his chest hurt to a whole group of people. So Giles Corey probably did not like that and killed him with a heart attack. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I get a heart attack now and die within a year because I felt this pressure on my chest? And like, I got really scared. And I feel like if I tell the story, I don't even like to admit it, but if I tell this story, I'm going to die of a heart attack soon. So if I die, guys, within a few days, blame Giles Corey. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Giles Corey. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. It was just a little joke, okay? So after I heard that whole thing about that guy dying, we were there for maybe another, like, 3-5 minutes or so, and they're walking away to the next place, and like, I got left like at the end of the line. There was, I don't know how many people were on the tour with us, probably about 10 of us were on the tour, but I was at the end of the line, and the whole time, like, while we were walking away, our back was like obviously towards, you know, where Giles Corey got pressed to death. The whole time I was just like, oh my gosh, he's like following me, he's right behind me, and like, I had to hurry up and like scooch my way through the line so people were behind me, because I felt so creeped out after that. Like, it would have been fine if he wouldn't have mentioned that the guy died. I would have been so much better. Like, I would have been like, yes, like, cool, like, he's probably behind me, yeah, but then he said that the guy died. I'm just within that year, and then I'm just like, oh boy, oh boy, I'm scared. But that is my story on, I've been wanting to tell you guys that since it happened, but at the same time I've been too scared to. But another cool thing, when I was doing a little bit of research before this video on him, I was watching some YouTube videos about it, and this one tour guy was mentioning how Sylvia Brown was actually on that spot, and she told the guy, like, right away, like, hey, I'm feeling a lot of pressure on my chest. And then it just made me feel good again in the psychic kind of ability type of world, because I'm like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't just like a little bit of pressure, it was a lot of pressure, and it kind of like hurt, like right here and kind of where my heart was, in a way. Like, it just felt like muscles, like, it was really weird, like, it just hurt. And I mean, I've felt that before, so I wasn't like too concerned, because I'm like, okay, well, this has happened before. But it's just weird how it happened at that moment. And then the tour guide said that people who are sensitive to this stuff, it happens to them. And then it happens to Sylvia Brown, so it's like, wow, like, that is amazing. Like, wow, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. That is cool, but don't kill me. Please, I want to live. I'm only 23, 4. Gotta be 24 soon. But it was a really cool experience. I definitely did enjoy my time at Salem, Massachusetts. Oh, and by the way, when me and my mom went there, we went to a place called Witch Picks. I'll leave a link of it down in the description below if they have a website. But it was so fun. Like, we have some pictures I'll probably put in the video here. And there's actually the picture back there. Usually my candle's lit, but the picture back there is one of me and my mom. You actually see that picture in my room tour video. We did a lot of pictures at that place. It was so fun. I highly recommend it if you go to Salem, Massachusetts. And if you don't plan on going to Salem, Massachusetts, I highly recommend you going to Salem, Massachusetts, and then going to the Witch Picks place and getting some pictures done. There's so many, like, costumes you don't even have to be a witch. Like, we dressed up as witches because it was, you know, a thing. Just like when we went to Gettysburg, we dressed up as the old Victorian style. But you can dress up as witches, you can dress up as wizards, you can dress up as, like, they had like these animal fur coats. Like, I don't know, I guess wizards maybe would wear that. I don't know, you can dress up as all kinds of stuff, and it was really cool. So I definitely recommend it. I'll leave a link of that in the description below. And I hope you guys enjoyed my Salem, Massachusetts storytime video. I hope to see you guys again if I don't die after sharing this story. So if you like this video, give this a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell for more notifications, and also comment if you've ever been to Salem, Massachusetts and what you liked about it. And if you want to go, what would you want to do there? Alright, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye!